Hey, how's it going? My name is Tom Campbell. Today is Canada Day, 2025. I am a resident at what used to be Holyrood Gardens. 9363 is my current address. Over there is the one that I got pushed out of due to uncontrollable water leakage from one of these units, is what I'm told. But during my move, I repeatedly asked week after week when the water was going to get turned off because it was still working the entire time I moved. And when I was out, I asked one more time because it still wasn't off, and they told me, well, the unit's condemned, so don't worry about it. The living conditions here have, as you can see, deteriorated. We got a notice that they were being marked for demolition for December 2024, which, weirdly enough, was less than what I'm told was the 365-day requirement for things like demolition or construction. So days go by, October-ish, September maybe, people moving out one by one by one. And then other people started moving in, causing a scene, wrecking things. There is, over here, I was talking to a fella, and I asked him, oh, what are you doing? The unit's been empty for a while. I know those people. He's like, oh yeah, I've been staying there. So once they were boarded up, people would go down to the basement window, rip that off, go in there, and then do whatever they need. Want, like, whatever. So the money he left in there was actually that guy. Ooh, come on, there you go. He goes in, I hear a weird buzzing sound. He comes out, rips 12 feet of copper right out of the wall, folds it up, throws it in the backpack. Oop, I guess we don't need to be so zoomed in, hey? There we go. Let's go farther. Even better. Sorry about that. Even now, the security guards report all these issues. Like, that used to be connected. That didn't used to look like that. Nobody's done anything. Anyway, so the first batch of people move out. And then all of a sudden we get a notice saying, yeah, so by the way, we're gonna postpone that. And now you can stick around until May if you want. I got an email for that too. So January, February, March come along, all my neighbors disappear. This one, somebody cut the copper off of the stove and the dryer, which are both gas. And the police were here because people were causing a scene. They go inside, they come out, and they're like, oh, there's a gas leak. I'm like, well, that explains the smell. So they call my management company, which is Macor, and they talk to the late night line, emergency line, whatever. And you tell them, buddy, you got a gas leak, send somebody. They're like, yeah, we'll do it. A couple days go by, still nothing. My unit that I moved out of, same thing. I moved out immediately. Somebody had kicked in the basement window, and within a day, you'd walk by my back fence, and all you could smell was gas. They never cut the power. They never... Oh, that's cute. Turned off the gas. This one entered, oh man, repeatedly. Every night, boards ripped off. But I mean, if nobody's going to do anything, and the police told me to my face, you know what, honestly, this whole joke isn't worth our time because it's a bunch of trespassing charges, which aren't going to lead to anything. All these boards, all these fences, they weren't even put up by the property manager, not by the owner. There was a notice posted up on what used to be the office that said the city had gotten involved. And it was the city that got a demolition company in to put up all the boards. Well, that's cute. That's cute. And then that obviously didn't work, as you can see. So they got involved again. Now, fences. Which, I mean, cute, nice touch. But, look at these things. Honestly, come on now. So that's not working. So the city got involved again and got a security company. They send one person at a time for all this. And when they see an issue, they report it, and nothing happens. Anyway, like I said, people kept moving, and then we get pushed out. That used to be my place. Used to be a lot more fences there. Those people, they were really nice. Those people, they're really nice. Lady over there, she was really nice. The guys in the corner, well, they were a bit goofy, but is what it is. But these guys all moved out. All those windows got kicked in. Place just got slaughtered. I've got pictures and videos and all kinds of fun stuff. And then there was nothing left to rip out of the walls, out of the cupboards, out of anything. So they started moving over here. And in these ones, there was, at the end of it, one lady left on the corner, and she kept having to put up with people breaking in, making noise, all this stuff. And nobody did anything. The cops were there all the time. So she got pushed out. And then, you know, that was all messed up. So they started trying to move in over here. But I got big old clown ears, and I can tell when something doesn't sound right. So one night I was up, oh geez, all night actually. I didn't sleep. I ended up calling into work because I literally didn't sleep. Because at 3 in the morning, I grabbed this big old headlamp that could light up the night sky. And I go and I shine it in the front window at what used to be my neighbor's place. And I see somebody peering back at me. And I'm like, buddy, you better get out. And sure enough, like 3, 4 people just come trudging out of this place, eyeballing me like I kicked their dog. It's a zoo. I mean, the one nice thing, the magpies, they've taken over. Rabbits, a couple skunks. Meth heads, crackheads, homeless people, copper rippers. As you can see, nobody has taken care of these trees in a very long time. I'm sure that's super safe. I'm sure there's no way that any of these trees are going to wreck a power line, possibly cause a fire and tear up a neighborhood. When I moved here, it was full of people. And then, like I said, they put on paper that it was scheduled for demolition in December. And because they didn't want to give that notice, I feel, and because they didn't want to do their due diligence or pay any kind of fee that they would have owed had people known what was going on. What a show. And then, like I said, April-ish comes along. February, March, I don't remember. We got another notice saying, oh yeah, so by the way, you don't have to be out until August now. And so, I mean, nobody thinking, well, wait a minute. You said this place is up for demolition. I have rights. So they moved anyway. And the owner, property manager, whoever, got exactly what they wanted. Eviction by attrition. Because, I mean, junkies start moving in, maintenance issues, mold, asbestos. Place is old, right? Constant fire department visits. Nobody wants to stay. They're scared. They don't feel secure in their own home. I mean, everybody else is getting out as soon as they can. It's getting worse and worse. And you're just looking around going, wow, why am I staying? Again, not thinking I'm owed. Neither was I until, honestly, today. When I started asking questions and then I started getting answers and pieces started to come together. That this whole thing was just one giant screw job because they forgot to give 1 year notice for demolition eviction. Screwed an entire neighborhood full of people. Like, there were kids here, dogs all over the place, families, barbecues. When we moved in, I mean, the trees were cut back, everything was taken care of. The lady that was the resident manager at the time had lived here forever. And then she left, and then we got this little goober named Jamie. And he is an absolute piece of work. If you've never been smiled and stabbed before, well, have I got the guy for you. Oh, man. I have so many interactions with the police here just because no security. Nobody left to say no. So, I mean, imagine Batman was a mental patient. That's kind of how it went. I got security cameras everywhere, lights, dogs, cameras, action. Yeah, it wasn't like that. Sure is now. Sure is now. So yeah, trees, fire, insurance, never know. Crackhead, passed out, fire, insurance, you never know. I've never been to a foreign country, but if I ever go to one and I smell a big old turd cooking, pretty sure it's gonna smell like this. I mean, where there's a hole, there's an entrance. There was, down at the end there, really nice little lady. She'd been here forever. All panicking because now she's got to pay $300 a month more just for rent before utilities. And the utilities in her new place included nothing. So she had to pay, heat, hot water, garbage, all the fun things that, tack an extra $400 or $500 on top. Another guy, a couple kids and a dog. I'm not gonna miss him. He was kind of a jerk, but same thing. Single parent, gotta move. And rent for these places were more than reasonable. $10.75, including a lot of things. I mean, yes. Trees into the buildings. When one of my other neighbors moved out, he had a tree pushing so far into his wall that it had caved in a bit, and when it rained, it just started pouring down. And the ceilings, roof, top of these things, it's flat. So it just builds up water. So it doesn't just rain for a day, technically. Once it's coming down off of that cracked in roof, it rains for a while. Right under your porch. Welcome to Holyrood. I don't know who owns this big heap. And I don't know what they're telling Macor management to do, or if this is Macor just being Macor. But this is passive eviction by changing dates due to demolition. I'll tell you right now, that ain't right. It's not the way you should treat people. It's probably not legal. Now there's only 2 people left. Me and that guy. Took my dogs for a walk one day. Walked by this place. And that window was all bashed in. None of this fencing and stuff was here because Apparently they didn't need it at the time until the city got involved. I talked to my resident manager, Jamie, repeatedly, asking him why they weren't boarding it up like they used to. He's like, it's fine, don't worry about it. So, you try not to worry about it. But when I looked in that window, gas stove had all 4 burners going. Hi. One night, fire truck sounded real close, went up the front door, sure enough, blinky lights. Full suit. Respirator, whole 9 yards. Goes in, pulls somebody out, because that. And then, same thing, but a week later, a little bit farther down the block, cops, suit, pull somebody out. The people that were occupying this one had gotten so used to being able to do it that they would come here in a taxi, hop out with bags of groceries, come around to the front of the building, and just hop in through a window. Like it was nothing. Welcome to Crazy Town. So again, people creep closer and closer, doing shit they're not supposed to do. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to. And then more people moved. So same guy, Jamie, goes on vacation, May to early June. I assume he knows there's move-outs coming, because, why wouldn't you? Apparently no communication to the demolition crew or anything, the fencing people. So, some places over there, the one with the opened up fence that we were looking at, as soon as those people were out, new tenants. Not the ones you want. Ugly and dumb. But then he eventually does come back. Demolition crew shows up and starts putting screws back into boards where screws are missing. Well, turns out there were people in there. Nobody checked. That can't be good. Trapping somebody in a condemned building, but heck, why not? Starting to think we're getting the idea of what the owners and managers of this place think about people, right? So I've got a video, because the police come up to me when I come home for lunch to walk the dogs, and they're like, hey, you hear a couple of people screaming about anything? No idea. No idea what you're talking about. So they say okay, they go about their way and take the dogs for a walk, come out front, and sure enough, like right outside my front yard, over there, police screaming at the wall. You don't really expect the police to be crazy people, so obviously there was somebody in there. But they are really good at making entranceways from one unit to another. Usually in the bathroom, underneath the bathroom sink, they'll cut a big old square out, and then they'll tunnel through. And then go into the next unit, do whatever they need, rip whatever they want. And again, next unit, next unit. Like a Vietnamese underground bunker, but above ground. And probably less sturdy than a Vietnamese bunker. So this girl, she's screaming, help me, get me out. And the police are saying, well, how'd you even get in there? She's like, just mumbling, screaming, whatever. I'm like, all right, fine. And then all of a sudden she's a little bit farther down and another unit screaming. They're like, what the heck? So you got like 2 police in the back, another couple in the front trying to figure out, how'd you get in there? Because everything's all boarded up tight. All the screws are where they're supposed to be. Isn't that a treat? And the little birds just glue themselves to the wall. So this goes on for a while until they finally give up. This one's fun. I've talked to like 3 security guards. They keep reporting stuff, nothing happens. Same with, excuse me, that unit that got boarded up down there that we're talking about. I told the security guard several times, somebody's in there. Told the manager, somebody's in there. They're like, yeah, whatever. Don't worry about it. All right, do what you gotta do. So yeah, they grab a couple of big old pry bars because originally when they started putting all these boards up, people would just either rip the board straight off because there was none of this extra stuff, which honestly doesn't much matter if you've got time in a bar. So they started using fancy screws and some glue, and for some reason the police weren't exactly sure how to, I mean, it's not even strong glue, but I guess they're not engineers or something. They couldn't get the glue off of there. They brought these pry bars, they started ripping the board off. Smoke starts coming out of the unit, and then they haul this guy out, and then they haul this girl out. And I told him this was going to happen because I saw him one day. I heard this weird sound down by the corner. I go looking over there, and like, man, it's a magic board. I didn't know they moved like that. Turns out it wasn't a magic board. It was a guy moving the board. He'd anchored in, 2-3 screws to make it look like it was all closed up. Move the board, go inside. Pop in a screw from the inside to make it look like it was all boarded up. Because, I mean, look at all this tree cover. You can't see anything anywhere. So you can do pretty much whatever you want. And then I see him another day, same thing. I'm like, man, you look familiar. He was like, I should. You've met me before. I'm like, oh. It's like, yeah, I met you in the basement of one of the other abandoned derelict units. I think I was with some blonde girl. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you now. You were that goober making all that noise and being a dick, so I came downstairs and I told you to get out. He's like, yeah. Well, so you're still here. I'm like, yeah. You're going to be boarding these places up. You're going to get locked in. It'll be fine. Turns out, wasn't fine. I know, I ramble. But here, look around this corner. We've already been here. I know. We're here again. Good. So, where are you going to see that from? Nowhere. Where are you going to see a lot of this from? Nowhere. I'm not angry. I'm just upset that a lot of people had to leave prematurely, not knowing they had something coming to them, for being twisted up like an old pair of pants and essentially thrown in the garbage. Like this girl, because of all these passive evictions, all these demolition related push-outs, everybody around her moved, and then she was gone for a while. I mean, look at this, you can't see anything. It's all just a wreck. Again, power lines, trees. And if it burns, I mean, Who's left to burn? Nothing. What's left to collect? Insurance money. A couple holdouts, they don't matter. Screw them. But she was gone for, I guess, 2-3 weeks. We had no idea because we'd never met her. And shortly before then, there was still a neighbor over here, but he'd left. And I guess in the in-between time, somebody came in through the back and just cleaned her out. Which I only found out because I guess she came, down the green patch up to my wife, all crying, going, "You guys see anything? Your camera see anything?" I'm like, no, of course not. There's a back door, a bad management company with no security, no cameras. All these signs that say there's cameras and stuff now, yeah, that wasn't there before. The only place there used to be a camera was by that great big garbage bin way back where we started. So, I mean, after all this, you get, honestly, a little bit paranoid. Sometimes you hear things that aren't there, sometimes you hear things that are there. The problem is they both feel real. I mean, imagine living with someone who mentally, emotionally tortures you and neglects you until you I shall feed torture. No, until, I mean, you're gun shy about everything. Somebody sneezes and you're like, oh, geez. Here we go. Then you look outside, skunk. That's happened. That might have been the case just this past Saturday when I heard goofy stuff. I mean, there was definitely somebody over there. There always is. But it sounded like there was somebody over here. I cut that down on Sunday. I am not dealing with goofy sounds in the middle of the night. And then I put up a big string of lights, just like a maniac, between 1 and 3 in the morning. And then Sunday comes, and I'm like, well, seeing as how there's no light back here, no nothing, like all these bulbs gone, light poles nowhere. Like that thing I don't even think works. So I built this cutie. Right. I mean, if you got to do something to keep your place secure, it might as well look cute. I was going for like a Sugar Rush Hello Kitty store that only sells grenades made of candy corn and hatred and fun. But I got that all set up now. Another camera up there. Put that guy up. There was graffiti all over that, so I found that ugly thing. Another camera over there. This guy didn't move. He got evicted. Forcibly. Police had to take him away. What a neighborhood. What a thing to do to the people that trusted you to keep them informed, do a little maintenance now and then. Like right now, my kitchen sink has been backed up. And by backed up, I mean I have done things to try to get this thing unclogged. And so far, the only thing that works, kind of, is putting a shop vac into the drain and hitting blow. And then taking it off, letting some of the water drain. And then I repeat that for, 5-10 minutes. And then when I'm done, some of the water comes back. And then I do that again for a while. I reported it. I haven't heard anything. He asked if it was just the kitchen sink. My good friend, Goober Jamie. And I said yes. That was June 23rd. That was the last I heard. My wife shut the door. The glass broke. Just shattered. No reason. So I put that up. I didn't want it to look like that. I mean, that looks like somewhere you break into. That looks like something that makes you worry a little bit. And I mean, from what they've done to me and my neighbors and this neighborhood, the last thing I need is an invitation for some person with poor ideas coming into my house. Told him about that. Still nothing. Don't worry about it. It's condemned. You got to move by the end of August anyway. And the email is saying, oh yeah, by the way, you can stay. I mean, they sound so nice, but it's just to, reinforce. Get out by this time. On your own, of course. And thanks for your money. All right, I'm done. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I know I talk a lot, but I don't usually have an audience. Just people I walked up to on the street. Late at night when they're making weird sounds and getting where they shouldn't be, and I offer them tea. Actually, last one. The police called me at 3:30 in the morning one day because there was this chucklehead parked out in the street playing music. I don't know, talking to himself. God only knows what he was doing. But I thought he was just another problem. So I was dressed to kill. I don't have them out here anymore. But they're the tiny little LED pixie lights, solar powered ones. I don't remember why, but I thought it'd be a good idea to wrap them around myself and then turn them on. It was cute. I liked it. I was very blinky, very shiny. And then I found this big old chain on the ground. I wrapped it around my dog, took a couple pictures. Big old, heavy chain. I heard the story behind it, and, well, it's seen some things. Yeah, I was wearing that oh geez. There used to be a Stampede wrestler 100 years ago. I think his name was Hercules. I look like that, but, not that big. I had no shirt. I mean, obviously. I had my big purple fancy cane that I got from... I didn't get it off of a dead lady. I didn't pry it out of her cold dead hands, but she was dead. And her cane was there, so my son moved out. Raging alcoholic, the both of them. And obviously he wasn't going to take the cane, so I did. So I channel that raging old alcoholic lunatic of a lady whenever I pick it up. My leg wasn't feeling good, so I had a bit of a limp. Then I start making my way over to this guy parked in the street. I'm like, hey, how's it going? You want some tea? And he just kind of rolls up his window. I'm like, hey, you, I'm talking to you. I'm getting a little bit louder at this point. I'm like, here, I made some tea. And he starts driving away a little bit. Not far, 15, 20 feet. So I pick up my pace, like this shambling old half-skeleton demon thing from Evil Dead. Honestly, it must have been a show. I wish I had the video. And I'm like, hey, Well, no, actually, I'll give you some of the voice. Hey, you, penguin, come here. I made you some tea. Where are you going? Which one do you like? You want jasmine? You want popcorn tea? Orange pico, is that your thing? Where are you going? Come here. I made you some tea. And then he drives even farther. So, I mean, he still stops. But he didn't say he didn't want any tea. So I had to go make sure. Well, this went on for a minute. Until finally he just takes off. So like I said, I get a call from the police. 3:30 in the morning, like, hey, are you this guy? Are you Tom? I'm like, yeah, of course I am. They're like, well, you gotta quit. I'm like, what do you mean? That guy's a security guard. He's just trying to do his job. Like, he's not doing it very well. This guy's a potato head. They're like, yeah, either way, you gotta quit. I'm like, fine. Like, you sure? Like, yeah. Like, all right. So since then, he's changed cars. He's still a garbage can. Like, he just parks over there late at night, midnight, pins the radio on his car like a big old denk. I didn't realize it was him. I kind of thought it was. And it explains why he drives by my house so quickly when he does his rounds. But if he keeps up his shenanigans, I might just have to see if he still wants that cup of tea. Okay, now I'm done. I want some tea. This really nice girl going through a hard time. I held on to some of her stuff. She sold some of it, and she left me this water cooler, and it works. I've never had just ready to go hot water before. I'm very excited. It's my favorite thing. I mean, household wise. So yeah, I do want some tea. Thanks for showing up again. Maybe I'll see you next time. DIY.